Coming to you from Strings and Things Studio in Ventura, California, I'm Anne,
I'm Kaity.
And I'm Karin.
and this is the Strings Unraveled Book Club.
Good morning,
Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
It is, if we sound different, we all just woke up. We are, this is a rare
That's right.
early morning recording for us. So if we're trying our best.
Yeah. Y'all
Only
are.
one of us is the morning person, and it's not me.
Yeah, except I've been up since 4 because I couldn't sleep. So, oh well,
Aw.
it is what it is.
So excited because you're super excited to talk about our book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's 100% right. What
So
book did we read?
first things first, what are you knitting or crocheting on as we discuss this book?
I am knitting a dog sweater. For a friend who just got a new puppy, and I knit them a sweater because they are very small and cute, and I underestimated the size of this puppy. So now I'm knitting a second sweater, and they requested it to be like the dude sweater.
Oh,
So
it's so perfect.
I am making a dude puppy sweater.
I love it.
Yep, because I don't
So,
have other
what is
more
a dude?
pressing matters that I need to attend to.
What
I'm
is
like,
a
no, I'm gonna knit a cute little dog sweater instead.
what is a dude sweater? Is it just matching the owner?
No, like
The
the
dude.
dude from the movie from The Big Lebowski. He wears an iconic sweater, so
Oh,
it is based on.
I never saw that. Count that one of the other many movies I've never seen. So
It is an iconic Pendleton sweater that he wears, so I am sort of recreating
awesome.
it as a little puppy sweater. What are you working on, Karin?
I am working on a test vest, crochet vest, for Natalie at Detroit Knots, and I took a break on the body so that I could do the neck.
Uh huh.
So I got the neck ribbing done,
Nice. Oh, that looks pretty.
and I'm working on the ribbing around the armholes,
Uh huh.
and see how the front crisscrosses with
Mhm.
this V neck. The same thing happens under the arm.
Nice.
So I'm just doing some crochet ribbing on the arms, and then I'll continue with the vest because they do have a cropped and a tunic, but this is like way too short even for the cropped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a tunic length, but it's in a mosaic crochet, not mosaic. It's that linen
Uh
moss
huh.
stitch, kind of cool. Lots of Miss Babs. I finally broke into my second ball of Miss Babs. I
Yeah.
have a third one, but I just thought I want to stop and do some finishing stuff, and then I'll go back and finish the body because then I can just go on cruise control.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah.
I'm making a black Musselburg.
Ooh.
A black one. See, I couldn't even get through a colored one. I don't know why. It's about as simple as you can get.
Well, it is a Christmas goal now, so I
Wow.
readjusted my handmade project goals, and I'm in the midst of three Musselburgs. So this is the
Wow.
fun one.
Yeah. That's fun.
Um, this is a cool Barocco yarn called Sesame.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I got it at Old Orchid Yarnery.
Nice.
Here's the
And What
purple.
what yarn is the black? Like what gauge are you doing?
Oh, five. I'm doing the biggest that's in the pattern, 5 stitches to
Oh, that's not so bad.
the inch. No, it's fine. Um, but I didn't think about yardage. I was thinking about this is a one skein project.
Yeah.
So I wisely had already gotten two of the black just because I was like, oh, one ball of Lion Brand's definitely not going to be enough to. It's enough to do one basic hat, not a double thick hat.
Right.
And then I got thinking about the sesame, which is 100 grams of worsted weight.
Yeah.
So I got coordinating Malabrigos to go with them for the 50-50.
Oh,
So
got
those
it.
are going to be way fun. I'm just trying to muscle through the black one.
You're
And if you
muscling
haven't
through
made a
your
muscle
muscle
bird,
burgs.
I'm muscling through my musclebergs. Yes, it's
Hmm.
a hat pattern by Isolde Teague that is a double thick hat that folds in on itself, and it's a fun and clever pattern. Very popular.
Yep.
Some people are making it at the studio, and many have made it. I think you made it, right, Katie?
Oh,
I have started one, but it's in fingering
I
weight on
started
like
one.
size 1 needles, and I have not gotten very
Oh
far. So
God, yeah. That's a
someday it'll be
that's
a
a
really lovely hat, but
yeah. That's a thing you come in and out of. I think it
yeah,
would be fun to have a few go, like have one going out of a single skein of fun sock yarn. Like it'd be a good
yeah.
travel.
It lives in my
Like,
car in case I go somewhere and don't have anything. So
hmm
I don't touch it very
like,
often, but it's there just in case I need it.
yep.
Cool.
Okay. So we read Counterfeit by
Hmm.
Kirsten Chen, which
Hmm.
if you guys ever want a tip on how to keep yourself from calling a Kirsten a Kristen,
Hmm.
we met a mom who reminded us you can't not smile when you say her name.
Oh, cute.
So, so if you need to
Oh,
catch yourself, you
yeah.
want to try to
Here.
say Kirsten, and or I have to smile when I say this is sort of the brain exercise I do. Um, quick summary: it's essentially the back of the book summary. It's coming from Kirsten's website. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a decent fake. Ava Wong has always played it safe. As a straight laced, rule abiding Chinese American lawyer with a successful surgeon as a husband, a young son, and a beautiful home, she built the perfect life. But beneath this facade, Ava's world is crumbling. Her marriage is falling apart, her expensive law degree hasn't been used in years, and her toddler's tantrums are pushing her to the breaking point. Enter Winnie Fang, Ava's enigmatic college roommate from mainland China, who abruptly dropped out under mysterious circumstances. Now, 20 years later, I'm laughing now that we know the mysterious circumstances. Now, 20 years later, Winnie is looking to reconnect with her old friend. But the shy, awkward girl Ava once knew has been replaced by a confident woman of the world, dripping in luxury goods, including a coveted Birkin in the classic orange. The secret to her success? Winnie has developed an ingenious counterfeit scheme that involves importing near exact replicas of luxury handbags, and now she needs someone with a U.S. passport to help manage her business. Someone who'd never be suspected of wrongdoing. Someone like Ava.
Hmm.
But when her spectacular success is threatened and Winnie vanishes once again, Ava is left to face the consequences. Swift, surprising, and sharply comic, Counterfeit is a stylish feminist caper with a strong point of view and an axe to grind. Peering behind the curtain of the upscale designer storefronts in the Chinese factories where luxury goods are produced, Kirsten Chen interrogates the myth of the model minority through two unforgettable women determined to demand more from life. So, top question. What do you guys think of the book?
I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. There's times when I got mad at people and times where it kept me engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was it was entertaining. It wasn't. I don't really. I have some problems with what you just read, but like my main issue with this book is I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to take away from it.
Huh, that's
Like
Hmm.
fair.
I I don't really see these people as like, I mean, they call them unforgettable and like, sure, but it also says it's a, what does it say, like a feminist. I didn't read that in
Feminist
this.
caper.
Yeah, I didn't read the feminist
Mm-mm.
part of it, but I might have missed it. But I also didn't really understand what the, like I said, what the author was trying to, like, are we supposed to take a point away from this? Is there some sort of moral story we're supposed to learn? Is it just a fun story? I don't know. It was fine, and I enjoyed it. It was short and sweet, and I thought it was fun. But you know, that's kind of where I land.
Um, well, I think like I mean I think I picked this one as a choice of I wanted it to be a fun read.
Yeah,
So you
Hmm.
could just read it as a fun read because
yeah,
I mean Personally, one of my favorite genres is like a heist story.
Okay.
So I think this stands up pretty good as
Uh-huh.
something of a heist caper.
Yep.
Someone reviewed it as con artist story, a pop feminist caper. So I like that. A fashionable romp.
Sure. I like
Um,
Mhm.
that.
Designer bags are not something I'm very interested in
Uh-huh.
generally.
Mm-mm.
But my phone thinks I am now, though, because I was Googling all those
You've been
styles
Googling?
that they were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What?
um,
See, I've heard the name Birkin, but I could not describe a Birkin bag to you.
um,
So, what
it's
is
a
a Birkin
very,
bag? Is that
it's so understated. I have
is
never
it a
found it
tote
this
bag?
appealing.
What
It
kind
is
of bag is
actually.
it?
Here, I'll show you. I
It's a
mean,
handbag.
you too could have Googled. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Oh, this is so good. This is the best website I could come up with it. Okay, so like Walmart lists all this stuff and they're not the primary seller,
Are they
they're
selling
a
Birkins at
reselling
Walmart?
them.
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
serious?
It's on the Walmart.
Pre-owned
Wow.
Hermes
Okay.
Birkin for how much?
It is,
$33,000.
yeah,
Wow.
33
Wow.
888.
That's
But
nuts.
that's not the most impressive. So like at some point she's gifted
The crocodile one.
that the crocodile one. I
Mhm.
found that one pre-owned $85,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, jumping way ahead, she's gifted this by the kind of crime boss leading their ring, and she knows that it's a threat of like, look
Yeah.
at how much we can throw at you easily. Um, and when I looked at that limited edition purple
Yeah.
crocodile bag, $85,000. But
Oof.
Karen, you tagged me in a reel, which I had seen it already, of this guy who like is crafting him, like he's building out of one of a kind handbags, like a cityscape or a little town out of bags he's
Mhm.
making out of recycled denim, and it's so beautiful and so detailed. But because my phone now thinks I crave luxury bags, it's showing me all the different kinds of Birkins. So, I mean, you saw what a Birkin is, Karen. It's right. You've seen famous
Mhm.
people carrying it. They're just like a very
I
dumb.
haven't because I don't follow famous people or pay attention to what they wear or what they carry. But I get it. Yeah.
Um, Birkin apparently made like a bunch of house themed ones.
Mhm.
Do you guys want to guess? Like, just make a guess. So you just saw that basic one for resale, $33,000. That limited
Half a
edition.
million. Half a
You're
million.
right. You're right in the right ballpark. I found
Crazy.
them listed for $400,000. So
Yeah.
That's like
you can
that's
buy those from a
almost what
lot of
I.
places.
You could buy a house
Hmm.
for a bag. Ah.
So like it. I think it also is meant to examine that like these are victimless crimes in a sense. Um,
Mhm.
I didn't feel sorry for anybody who
and
gets. Yeah.
who's the thief here? Is it our girls who have a fraud ring going, or is it also the fashion labels claiming these insane prices
Right.
for
Nobody feels sorry for them.
okay. um and like there's so they're kind of anti-heroes too, another thing to look
Mhm.
at them as.
Sure.
um
Yeah.
people be there. You can take it as a read as a fellow woman not being taken seriously for all your potential that you have to move through this world and kind of run the world.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Read it as examining the racial study because it's clearly calling that out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot of bad people doing bad things, which for the sake of itself is fun to read.
Yeah.
It's why we
Yeah.
watch like reality TV and stuff.
Exactly.
that's why, like, I enjoy White Lotus. You guys have
Yes,
watched White Lotus,
I love
right?
White
That is
Uh,
Lotus.
all. Like, there's never anybody redeemable in that,
No,
and
but you
if they
love it.
are, they're probably getting the shaft in the storyline.
Yeah.
mhm.
We kind of have been answering the first question as we go here. Before reading Counterfeit, how much knowledge did you have about how the handbag manufacturing business operated? I mean, yeah, I didn't have a lot of knowledge about that.
I mean, I knew they probably used sweatshop labor and charged far more than it was the materials were worth.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
wasn't like surprised. I might have been a little surprised at how little has to be like made in
Mhm.
the country they're claiming it's made in to get away with, like just the hand being
Yeah.
made in France or something. Because I really did think the more like couture pieces were being made in workshops, not sweatshops.
No, they make a label
Mhm.
that says "Made in Italy" and they slap it on a bag
Hmm.
that was made in China or wherever.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
vague understanding of how it worked because I remember I like did some research when I went to Asia because we were supposed to have time in Hong Kong and that's like
Hmm.
the place to go. So I knew
Yep.
about like
Uh-huh.
the different grades of bags and the different like levels of fakes and like an A1 fake versus like a whatever. So I like knew just a little bit, but not a ton.
You knew more than me. Did you get yourself a fancy bag when you were in Hong Kong?
No, because I never made it to Hong Kong except to the airport because I missed
Uh,
my flight and then I had to fly from
Oh.
Cambodia. I was supposed to fly from Cambodia to Hong Kong, have a whole day there, and then fly home. But instead, I had to fly from Cambodia to Thailand, Thailand to Hong Kong, get on a flight, and then go home. So, no, I did not get to
Oh,
shop
you
or
had your
anything.
own personal amazing race.
has this book illuminated the specifics of the industry in any surprising ways? I mean, I think yes, that
Yeah.
just how
Yeah.
much happens and where it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the same labor force could produce the same quality bag, and it just depends on the line that it's
Yeah.
coming out of. Um,
And
although,
I find I find that I could be just as happy with a fake. A well-made fake is still a well-made bag.
have you guys heard about like when people are tasting wines and there's so much of that that's psychological.
Mm-hmm.
So like they can put
Mm.
the same wine in an expensive looking bottle and like a less expensive looking bottle, and people claim that the exact same wine tastes better coming out of that expensive looking label.
Right.
Um, although we never see or hear from the detective Ava is confessing to directly, were you able to grasp any character attributes about this person? Did you feel as a reader that you're being invited to be the arbiter or legitimacy, be the arbiter of
It's a hard word. You can do it. I believe in you.
legitimacy
uh,
in Ava's story. Um, you know, I feel like the detective was very flat and that we weren't meant to
right.
gather.
I kind
I
of
just
forgot
found
that
it
that was a
distracting.
character.
I don't even think the detective was necessary
Well, I
myself.
actually thought it was an interesting storytelling tool because it felt a little Gone Girl, but
Mm-hmm.
we were in on it earlier,
Yeah.
which is why I
Hmm.
actually don't feel like I had to be that arbiter
Right.
Hmm.
because we get the wink more than halfway through the book
Hmm.
of like this is what the real story is, which is that Ava is trying to paint a picture where they can both get away um, with this caper
Right. She's
by throwing.
innocent. She's a
Yeah.
she got manipulated by her friend and she's
Hmm.
just a mom trying to make it through and blah 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 and you're buying it for the first half of the book
Oh
and then
yeah.
I did like that like the flip on you that
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, well, okay, cool. Now I have to rethink everything I just listened to for 2 hours, you
Yep.
know?" I like that.
I like I it made
I
me
did
like
like that part.
Like
Like,
Ava
oh,
so much more
Yeah.
that she to find out she's playing the system still. Um,
Yeah, she was kind
The
of in
that
consider.
a
the
no.
lawyer.
Go
Go
ahead,
Go
ahead.
Carrie.
ahead. Well, that the for at one point I'm like, wait a minute, who's being used by who? Are they equal, partner, or is the lawyer slash stay-at-home mom? Is she really the mastermind?
Right.
I
Oh,
kind of
okay.
got
So you
into.
gave her even more credit.
Well,
Um,
when they did the flip, I'm like, wait a minute, who's really in charge here? I
hmm
mean, maybe one person, maybe Winnie had this idea, but Ava, with her lawyer fine-tuned mind, could perfect it.
hmm
Yeah, she
Um,
definitely found the perfect partner in Ava to work this scheme, and I think that Winnie, like Ava was brought into it, right? Like Winnie was doing this since college,
yeah, she's already
before
doing
that.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
Boss Matt got her into it already.
Yep.
Consider the emphasis on branding in fashion. Do you find that luxury brands are always synonymous with quality? Are you loyal to any brands? If so, why? Well, first part of the question: do you find that luxury brands are always synonymous with quality? No,
Mm-mm, no, no.
which is actually what blew up their operation. Is they followed the designs of the Louis Vuitton wallet,
hmm
and it had a design failure, and that's
Yeah.
what got them into the spotlight per se.
Right, because
I
they
am
copied the.
absolutely, yeah, I'm absolutely loyal to some brands, but they certainly aren't fashion brands.
No,
Uh,
I'm loyal to pattern brands,
yeah,
but
Gingers.
where I become my own brand, we each because we're makers, sort of, or but not the finished product brand, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I'm just thinking there's probably like a couple other things out there, but I mean, my go-to is that I am loyal to Ginger Scissors.
Yeah, some things are quality, right? And some of them,
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah.
cost a fair amount. But I wouldn't say that like Gingers are a luxury brand, right? They're a higher end
Yeah.
scissor,
hmm
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't have
I
the
That
resources to
brand
be
that
loyal
Kelly,
to a band, a brand like that.
I was loyal to Ginger, and then Kelly put me on to something else that was probably the most expensive pair of scissors I ever bought, but I
Oh,
love them
Calvin's
to this.
very nice. Yeah, those are
They're
nice
the
too.
They're the Birkin of scissors.
Mm, that's funny. Uh,
I think maybe.
so we're loyal to brands because they actually are quality
Right.
and have served
Yeah.
us well. If we are in fact loyal to our niche brands, what do you think a strong friendship requires? Are Winnie and Ava good friends for each other? How do you
Hmm.
initially interpret the relationship? How do your impression change as the novel progressed?
Hmm.
Okay, strong friendship requires loyalty, holding space, showing up
Honesty.
regardless of your foibles, honesty. That's good.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I guess in
They
the
have
Basically,
some.
what was that, Carrie?
They have some aspects of that, but I'm thinking years. But a strong friendship doesn't require communication across the years, or would you consider someone a strong friend if they just show up after a couple decades?
but we find out in the truth that they have been connected all this time.
Oh, that's
That
right.
like she knew about the marriage. She has been helping Winnie get her citizenship. Like all these things we think at first where they're like, oh, this girl just came out of the woodwork and now she's taking advantage of Ava. Like we're meant to be falling for that. And when
Right.
the
Oh,
curtain moves, we find out like, no, Ava's been in Winnie's life all along.
that's true. I forgot about that. That we're we're the role of the second tier of friends, the next ring of friends who have opinions about Winnie because we're not in the know.
Yeah. Well, then that answers the how did you initially interpret their relationships? Same, like what you're saying, this girl comes out of the blue. How good of friends could they be? You know,
Yeah,
but I
at
think
first
they
you're
are
led
good.
to believe that this is not a good
Hmm.
situation for them to be in, and later you learn when it's revealed that they're sort of like soulmates, like they're meant to be doing this together
Yes.
because they are
Yes.
very good at it.
Hmm.
And I would say yes, they are good friends for each other, but it's
Yes.
not a good relationship, right?
Ha 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 ha. Uh, it depends. What do you judge as a good relationship? They're two successful businesswomen
Sure, yeah.
channeling their smarts. Yeah.
Yep.
Winnie and Ava discuss the labor conditions in brand name factories. Do consumers have a responsibility to ensure the ethical production of products they purchase? Do you think most consumers care? Yes, to the first. We do have a
Yes.
responsibility. So, like when you know better, do better.
Mhm.
Um,
Hmm.
I think in their conversation of it, it was very. I did think it was interesting and of note of how Ava painted it in her testimony to the detective as like the hellhole that everyone imagines it to be, when in
Mhm.
fact it was pretty well run working conditions for what was on offer, and the people working there were happy and
Yeah.
Hmm.
weren't missing fingers.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Excellent dramatics. um do we think that most people care about that production? No,
I think they don't.
I think
which is why it
it's
continues.
it's hard, right? Because I absolutely believe that you are responsible for knowing, how the products that you consume are made. But at the same
Yes.
time, I also believe that there is no such thing as ethical consumption under consumerism. So
Yeah.
No,
at some
I
point, you
agree.
kind of just have to like either be blind to it, or you're going to be doing all of your time is going to be committed to this, and money, because everything gets three times as expensive when you consume things in a responsible manner, right? So I think at some point,
Yep.
for the average American person, you kind of just have to pick and choose which battles you're willing to fight and which ones you are not.
Well, it's kind of like the
Yeah.
only ethical way to consume is to basically be a homesteader.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Uh, and so I can care, and I love the adage, say, like, on a big problem, you can't save them all, right? So if you can save one, you save the world. So just like apply your care and concern where you can,
Hmm.
because a little bit of change is better than nothing.
Mhm.
I think also like the economy and the system of this exists, and they exist because money keeps flowing into it. But it is desirable work in places that it is in place
Yeah,
across the world,
Hmm.
that's true.
and sometimes it's done well and good, and it's a reasonable working environment. A lot of the time it's not, though.
Right.
And in all scales of economy, I would love to see more equal share in the earnings from products, that people across the from top to bottom
Hmm.
have a more equal share in the things being produced. But
Mhm.
wake up, and you're dreaming.
Yeah, right. There's not much you could do to change anything in the
Mm-mm.
position that you're in, right?
Yeah. How do Winnie and Ava contend with the model minority stereotype that exists for the Asian American Pacific Islander community in the United States? How do they take advantage of it?
Well, they definitely use it to their advantage at some point.
Yeah.
Like especially when Ava is the first, when she's first starting to work for Winnie in, well, at least when we are led to believe that this is when she's first starting to work for her. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." She can manipulate the salespeople to take back her returns and to because they're going to believe that she wouldn't do anything wrong, right? So she's using that to
Hmm.
her advantage.
Well, it's like some of the time also she's portrayed almost being more believable to her in group too.
Uh-huh.
Because there's
Mm.
the first time we hear about her leaving the cell phone behind, I think that or Winnie describes from her point of view that the other saleskeeper, who seemed to be of Chinese descent as well, was like completely nonplussed by the interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she was worried that she would give them greater scrutiny, but she took
Hmm.
nothing out of the ordinary whatsoever from
Right. From that
Ava's
interaction.
behavior. And it almost like was more of a hook, line, and sinker that everybody was comfortable with her
That's
self
true.
presentation.
Hmm.
Um, so they used it to everyone's advantage, you know. I think that Winnie is a little bit of a victim of it,
Sure.
um,
Hmm.
because she had that, like, I have to work harder and harder. I have to be the hardest working person in the room when she was, at least when she was in college.
Yeah.
And then, like, to me, because it never sounded right that I mean, we find out why she left town when the SAT scandal hits, but it never seemed right when it was being told that she had to leave because it was bought, because there's nothing about her personal story
Mm-mm.
that made me think that anyone was buying SAT scores for her, because her family just wasn't in that kind of position.
Yeah, I was
Mm-mm.
really confused by that until the very end, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. But for the majority
Yep.
of the book, I was like, I don't really, maybe I missed it, but I didn't really get, you know.
No, they don't tell us. They don't tell us. And I'm thinking she's just getting out of town quick because she's afraid of being like caught in the whirlpool of the scandal.
Uh huh.
Later,
Hmm.
we find out she is the whirlpool.
Right.
Uh, which, spoiler, um, there's an SAT scandal that's found out that all these kids, foreign students from China, had bought their SAT scores for someone else to take them for them. Um, Winnie leaves school as the cloud of this is hovering over the university under the guise that her dad had a stroke. And we find out at the very end of the book that Winnie did not buy her SAT score. She was the person who took all of those SATs
She was
and got
selling the
everybody
SAT scores.
scores, which was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And she's like, do you know how much those people paid me to take SATs for their kids? It was like a piece of cake. So yeah, she got a
Yeah.
perfect score because she had lots of practice taking the SAT for them.
Well, that's what I've been trying. You know, I have an SAT age taker here. That sentence didn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, my
We
son's
got it.
getting ready for the SATs,
Hmm.
and he will not take practice tests. And I'm like, dude, that's what you
You
do
have
to
to.
improve your score. You practice, you drill it. He's like, I need help with time management on some of the sections. I'm like, yeah,
That's what
this is
practice is for.
right.
I'm telling
Anyway,
you, I didn't do the practice test, and it made a huge difference because I did not score well as I could have because you don't. My mindset of how to take the SAT, it's not like taking other tests, and you
I
need
was
to practice.
exactly. I was very amused then with that. Just like practice, obviously. Um, how did your impression of Boss Mac shift over the course of the novel? How do you perceive his relationship with Winnie? Did you feel any sympathy for him at any point?
Um,
Um, I think he was a pretty cardboard representation of a powerful business person. maybe
yeah,
maybe mafioso.
Oh, yeah, I was more upset by his daughter. His daughter trying to proclaim his innocence while she's, I don't know, her character annoyed me.
I liked her more
Um,
than I liked him because, yeah, he was a little, like
she
you
had
said,
good
like,
ideas.
yeah, he was a little cardboard, like you said. Like, I don't really have a
Hmm.
full major impression of him. I don't think he was the character that the author intended him to end up being, you know?
Yeah.
Right. To make a bigger impression on us. Or
Maybe.
maybe that was maybe it was purposeful. I mean, mostly only the women have been fleshed out in
Right.
this story. And I think that
That's
was very
true.
deliberate. Um, how do you perceive his relationship with Winnie? I think there was something real, like a real feeling between them,
Hmm.
but that's more because I'm perceiving it from her her sympathies
Yeah, it seemed
and
genuine.
reminiscences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And no, I did not feel any sympathy for him at any point.
No,
Nope.
Um,
I'm not sad that
did you
he
see
drank
the
himself to death and oh no,
no?
he couldn't pay some super doctor to save him, you know?
Yep. Did you see the main twist of the novel coming? How did you understand? How did your understanding of the story change after the reveal? Well, I think we talked about the understanding change a lot, but did you guys see the twist coming?
I
No, and
did
every
not,
time
but
I feel like I should have, you know? I'm like, oh, duh.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then
No,
I'm like, well,
Ava
maybe
was
the author is
convincing
really
me.
smart, or maybe I'm really dumb. I don't know.
It's probably more the first than the latter. I don't think you're really dumb
Thank you.
because I also did not see it coming. Um, and so we've talked a lot about our understanding of the story. Like of course, it changes. We understand their relationship differently. We understand
Hmm.
Ava to be a more savvy actor in all ways in her life.
Yeah, it did
Um,
make me like her more because I found her
yeah,
obnoxious for the first half of the book.
yes, I was
Yes.
having trouble with her character.
Yeah.
Um, After the events of the novel, how do you see Ava's and Winnie's lives progressing? Have they been irrevocably changed by their experiences within these pages? How do you guys see their lives changing? We leave them at the is it Nantucket that she
She
has that
lives
ideal.
in New Hampshire or something.
Oh yeah, okay, somewhere back east,
Yeah.
adorable
Hmm.
cottage, flag flying in the front of the
Yeah, she loves
cottage,
her American flag.
living the American dream.
Yeah. I actually really like that for Winnie. I like that for her
Oh, I love it for her. Yes.
because she
I
finally doesn't. She's so much more relaxed. She doesn't. She's not constantly under the work mode.
well, she will be because it's
How?
not like she's
Yeah.
retired.
No.
No, but
How do
she's
you
got
guys
that work-life balance.
But does she?
Well, they had to go underground for 2 years.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what a nice vacation.
Right.
Um, how do you think the diamond business is going?
I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how they think that that is going to work, and they are not going to end up being
Yeah.
caught.
Well,
Yeah.
any of these
Because
schemes,
that's much more regulated, I think.
I don't know, but I also hope that like they have an exit plan this
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Ava
time.
travels to New Hampshire or wherever it is to go visit Ava, or no, to go visit Winnie. Winnie, I assume, is using a new identity. She's got a new face.
Yep.
Do they ever talk about? She's got a new passport, probably a new name, but this diamond business is going to pop up in the exact same small town where Ava already has traveled to, right? And if she's under the investigation
Hmm.
for this fraud ring back in, 2 years back when she was, doing the designer handbag thing, I feel like that's a
Hmm.
pretty big connection to just hope that nobody figures it out.
Right out of the gate. Yeah.
Right. She's like, two
Yep.
years on the dot,
So
I am leaving.
you are anxious for their future business ventures, it sounds like.
Sure. Yes, we'll go with that.
have their have they been irrevocably changed? Absolutely. Like Ava has recrafted her life.
Hmm.
She's single. She's got Maria back helping her care for that little boy who
Hmm.
seems to be turning out okay.
Hmm.
Um, and she has a lot more agency in her life. I think Winnie empowered her to find more agency in the life she's living.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I don't
Yep.
know if Winnie is a changed person. I think it says at the end something about how like she's basically a chameleon. She can find her life in any situation that she's in. So if she's in New Hampshire and she's like homesteading it and, you know, has a vegetable garden, she's happy. Or, you know, she
Yep.
feels like she's herself. But she also felt the same way when she was in, you know, Hong Kong and, you know, doing her counterfeit handbag scheme. Like that fit her life just as perfectly too, you know? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how much her
Hmm.
life is changed for the better or if this is just a like step on the way to some other thing, you know?
Right. It's just a wind in her road.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think she's retiring to grow veggies and be a, you know, live off the land.
This question is funny to me, so I'm going to proceed with asking it. It's a
Okay.
bit on the nose. Does the title of the novel, Counterfeit, refer to more than just the knockoff handbags? What
Oh,
else could the title pertain to?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just think it's the bags,
yeah, yeah.
not our characters. No.
No, just bags and diamonds.
Yep. And all those questions were from, I believe, from the publisher.
Oh, nice.
I was very happy. And I was like, 10 book club questions. I don't gotta find nothing for
Yeah,
this
isn't that
one.
great when you can find a whole set of book club questions for the book? I love that.
Okay, well, that's our book.
Woohoo!
I think we should
Um,
start. I think we talked about this before, giving it like a rating. Do you want to do like
oh, yeah.
out of 5, like 5 stars, like they do on, you know, like
Yeah.
Goodreads? Like,
Yeah.
what would you rate it?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's fun. Go ahead. I'll go last.
I'm giving this like a pretty solid, like 3.5, because it was enjoyable. It wasn't the most
Yeah,
exciting book I ever read, but it was fun. It was short. It was sweet. It was, you know, I liked it.
I was thinking I'd be difficult and go 3.75.
That's fine.
Uh, no, I think 3.5 because, like, I'm not like dying to pick this up again.
Right.
But it was fun,
yeah,
and I'll probably think of it every once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
especially while my phone still thinks I want designer bags and shows me weird
yeah.
designer bags.
I feel like if I had gave it a 4, it would mean I'd want to read more from the author, and I may or may not, but I'm not definitely gonna read more from the author. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I might consider more in the
I think
future.
I would definitely read from her again.
I thought it was well
Yeah, I will
crafted,
give
the
it a
story.
3.75. Yeah.
It wa it was definitely okay. It was well crafted because none of us saw the twist.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you
I
can
don't.
see the twist too early, it's such a disappointment. And this was not disappointing that way.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
agree.
Or at all. I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah, you don't have to like rave about a book to also have not been disappointed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, so what have you guys read this month?
Well, I'm trying to
Uh,
find the name of the other book that I read that this reminded me so much of that I actually liked better.
Oh,
Do you know
I
the one
have.
I'm talking
Oh,
about?
no,
Um,
but I oohed because I would love to know more because like I love heists and capers.
okay, this one was about um like the magazine industry and like the fashion industry in New York. And this person who was like this girl that was an intern for like Vogue or something, and this person that she met that ended up being like taking
it
advantage of
reminds me
them
of
in a
Ugly
little bit
Betty.
of a way.
Kind of reminds me of Ugly Betty, the show, in that
I'm gonna
respect.
try and remember the name of it while you guys talk about the books you read because I can't remember, but I would like to.
Well, I did want to recommend a movie I if you guys like kind of like the flavor of just women taking empowerment with victimless crimes that are just like sticking it to a corporation. I watched a movie a couple weeks ago called Queen Pins that is from 2021. It stars Kristen Bell and Kirby Howell Baptiste. They're two best friends who are being pursued by Vin, oh shoot, Vince Vaughn and Paul Walter Hauser, who is just kind of this sort of chubby mall cop kind of character.
Hmm.
and they have created the description just says a pair of housewives create a $40 million coupon scam,
Ah,
and
that sounds fun.
it's based on real people, and it is a very fun romp. I actually I liked it better than this book. It's all unfurling, and you're rooting for them so bad because they're like not really hurting anybody, and it's fantastic. Karin, what did you read this month?
Um, I, I'm also part of a different book club where we're trying. It's called 75 Black Books, but you're not really. It's not about 75 books. It's just spending 75 days of reading.
Mm-hmm.
And audiobooks count, so I've been getting through a bunch. I read Slay, so good, so
What's it?
good. By day, 17-year-old Kira Johnson is an honors student, a math tutor, and one of the only black kids at the Jefferson Academy. But at home, she joins hundreds of thousands of black gamers who duel worldwide as a Nubian personas in a secret multiplayer online role-playing card game. But no one knows that she is the game developer, and so she's trying to keep track of stuff. And then, but when a teen in Kansas City is murdered over a dispute within that world, news of the game reaches the mainstream media, and it's labeled racist, exclusionist, a violent hub for thugs and criminals, and she potentially is sued for anti-white discrimination. But it's really interesting. It was a really, really interesting book called Slay,
I'll take a look.
by Brittany Morris.
Nice.
So that, I don't know if you can see also the cover. I love a good cover. See, there's like little pixels,
Yeah,
shiny
it's very
pixels on the
very well
cover. Yeah,
designed cover. Um,
I I did a what else? What else? I Blanche on the Lamb was another one. It was written by the author was 60 when she wrote her first book. So it really was appealing. I had mixed feelings. I liked the way it ended. It was a nice kind of a Murder She Wrote ish with black women as help kind of thing. It was really interesting. So there's a few others that I'm in process of, but that's what I
you
read.
know,
Oh, I have not seen the movie, but I'm gonna read the books, and they're very different.
What
So I was
books?
yeah,
warned with Wicked. So there's four of them. There's
yeah.
Wicked, Son of a Witch,
I have
A
the
Lion
first one.
Among Men, and Out of Oz.
I've never
So
been able to get through the first one.
yeah, hopefully I will be. I, I was
Okay,
told it's very, very different. Go ahead.
I read a decent amount of books, but I didn't take the time to make a list. So I'm going to this time just tell you about one.
Okay.
Okay, can you
Okay.
guys look at this really cute cover?
A Merry
It's
A
Little Meet
Merry Little
Cute.
Meet Cute. How
yeah,
cute.
and it's by two best-selling authors, Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone.
Oh, I love them. I follow them on Instagram.
Um, have you read any of their books, Katie?
I think I've read what's the first one? Julie Murphy. I think I've read a few
Yeah.
of hers, and I
Okay.
feel like
But
I've read
not
a
than this
Simone, but
project.
yeah.
So it's a very cute for the listeners out there. It's a very cute cover. The soundbite looks like a cinnamon roll. Keeps playing in my head when I look at it.
Uh
It's
huh.
just super sweet. The title, a very merry meet cute. That's so sweet, right?
uh huh.
This book will burn your mouth. It is so spicy. There is no slow burn. It is on fire from the beginning. It is a former bad boy band member meets his co-star on a kind of like Hallmark movie esque Christmas movie set, and she is a porn star, and they're both trying to like have their like he's trying to rehab his identity, she's trying to make it mainstream, and they're
Mhm.
both trying to keep everything quiet and secret, and it's on fire. It is fantastic. It is Make sure your earphones are actually connected. You do not want any second of this to accidentally play in a public place.
One of those.
It is hot, and very deceptive by its adorable cover. I'm just started there are 3 books and 2 novellas, and I have started the second book, and it feels a little formulaic, but I'm here for the formula.
Yeah, if it's a formula you enjoy, then, who cares?
Did you figure out your book title, Kaity?
I did. It is called Cover Story by Susan Rigetti. It says a captivating novel about an ambitious young woman who gets trapped in a charismatic con artist scheme. So it felt a lot like this book with I don't want to give it away because it was a very cute book and I really enjoyed reading it. And I made my mom and sister also read it because I was like, I want to talk about this with somebody. So it's worth a
Well, I'm
listen
gonna add it
or
to
read.
my reserve list.
I did my annual reading of A Christmas Carol. This time I listened to, usually I listen to like whatever audiobook version is on Audible. I don't remember. It's like a little bit older, but I listened to the Spotify version of it this year. Like there's a Spotify, I think, exclusive. And the narrator is Jacob Daniels. It was great. Very much enjoyed that. And then I listened to the Patrick Stewart performance of A Christmas Carol.
Of course. That's
also,
what I thought you were going to say was your go-to, actually.
Well, so that one is like abridged, right? He's performing it. He's the characters. It's not like the full book. So I like to read the book or listen to it. I listened to it this time. The real book is about this big. It like takes a day to read. But I'm also very much enjoying the Patrick Stewart version of it. And then I started a book that I have known that I have wanted to read forever and ever that I have never read yet, which is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller.
I've got that on my pile.
It is so good. I am so enjoying it that I stopped listening to A Christmas Carol to focus on this instead because I knew it was going to be one of those books that I loved, but I had never gotten around to it yet. So, so far so good.
Wow, lots of reading, Kaity.
I know. I was listening to like a podcast for a while that I was trying to like get to the end of, and then when that ended, I was like in a void, and I was like, "Oh, books exist. I should listen to a book."
Well, I can't wait to hear like your sum up of Song of Achilles because it's well hyped, but I think it deserves its hype from our experience with her with Circe.
As much as I loved Circe, I was like, this is her even better reviewed, more well-known novel. So I was like, I know I'm going to enjoy it. And so far I am.
Yay. What are we reading?
Me, right?
It's you.
So. No one else?
Okay.
Not me.
I picked a book called Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Yep. It's when legendary R&B artist Corey Fields spots Enchanted Jones at an audition, her dreams of being a famous singer take flight. Until Enchanted wakes up with blood on her hands and zero memory of the previous night. Who killed Corey Fields?
All right.
That's our.
I've got it lined up for me. I can't wait.
Cool.
Well, that's one for the books.
Ha 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 ha. Good one.
Ha ha ha.
Well, thank you guys for joining us again.
And it wraps up a good year, another good year of lots of reads.
Yeah, lots of books this year. We should do like a year in review, go through all the books. Maybe we'll do that in January. That might be fun. That might be good. That might be good Patreon bonus content. So if you want to know, sign up for our Patreon.
I'm adding it to the list.
Yes, please, because I will forget in 2 weeks when we record that.
Was that great?
Yeah.
Thank you for being the responsible one, Anne.
Some days. All right, dolls. Have a good holiday season.
Yeah, enjoy. We'll see you then. Bye.